Hello friends. What happens when the royal fire of Leo meets the cunning mischief of the monkey in the Chinese zodiac? You get a character so bold, so charismatic, and so ridiculously unpredictable, they could talk a shark out of its teeth while convincing you it was your idea. We're diving deep into the magnetic world of those born under the Leo sun and the monkey year. This isn't just about star signs and cosmic vibes, this is a full-on character profile. A roadmap to understanding someone who can charm a room, lead a team, break a few hearts, and still make you laugh at the end of it all. Let's unravel the layers of this fiery, witty, and wildly complicated human being. From love and marriage to the dark corners they try to hide. Love, a high-stakes game of fire and flirtation. Love for a Leo monkey is never boring. It's a performance, a chase, and a deeply emotional roller coaster all wrapped in one dazzling package. These individuals don't tiptoe into relationships. They dive headfirst, heart first, drama first. When they fall, it's with the energy of a standing ovation. All lights, all eyes, all in. Romance for them is expressive and grandiose. They'll write you poetic texts at 3 a.m., surprise you with impromptu getaways, or show up with a gift that's somehow both expensive and deeply personal. Why? Because Leo monkeys feel love through the art of expression. And the bigger, the better. Think over-the-top declarations and the full emotional spectacle of a romantic movie, but starring them. This sign combo thrives on admiration and desire. Leo needs to be adored, like, I can't breathe without you, adored. They want to be the sun in your sky, the muse in your story. The monkey, on the other hand, is curious and emotionally adventurous. It's not enough to feel love, they want to play with it, twist it, test it. That means they're often flirtatious, sometimes mischievous, and always dancing on the edge of too much. The monkey will bring humor, unpredictability, and a dose of chaos to any romantic situation. One moment they're laying in your lap whispering about forever, the next they're off meditating in Costa Rica without telling you. It's not malicious, it's their inner wanderer needing space to breathe. But for a partner who craves consistency, this can feel like emotional whiplash. They need romance to be alive, not just warm, but blazing. Leo monkeys bore easily, and nothing turns them off faster than stagnation. If a relationship becomes routine, you'll notice them emotionally checking out, throwing curveballs, or starting small arguments just to stir some excitement. This is where their fire sign nature mixes with the monkey's curiosity in dangerous ways. They don't like peace unless it's spiced with passion. That means their ideal partner is someone who's always evolving, always challenging, and never afraid to shake things up. If you keep them guessing and keep their heart racing, they'll be yours, fully and intensely. When it comes to communication, Leo monkeys are highly verbal. Words matter, especially words of affirmation. They want to hear that they're loved, that they're admired, that they're doing a good job being your partner. But don't mistake this for vanity. Their ego, while strong, is often just a protective shell. Underneath, they want reassurance that their emotions are valid and their efforts are seen. Flirtation is also a major love language. Intellectual banter, cheeky comments, sarcastic play fights, this is all foreplay to them. A partner who can stimulate their mind and match their wit is far more appealing than someone with just good looks. They want a lover who's mentally agile, emotionally passionate, and confident enough to stand beside them, not behind. Now, here's the real truth bomb. Leo monkeys are loyal, but on their terms. They're not the ride or die type just for the sake of loyalty. They stay when they choose to stay, and that choice is always based on admiration and mutual respect. If they see you as strong, driven, and slightly out of reach, that's irresistible. If they think they've outgrown you, or worse, that you've stopped admiring them, it's over. They want their partner to challenge them, to call them out, to inspire them. If they look at you and feel a sense of awe, they'll be fiercely loyal. But if that admiration fades, so does their commitment. Trust is sacred to them, but so is freedom. If they feel trapped or unappreciated, you'll see the escape artist in them awaken. And once they're gone, they rarely come back. It's not revenge, it's self-preservation. In short, loving a Leo monkey means entering a love story that's as exhilarating as it is demanding. You'll be pulled into a whirlwind of passion, drama, humor, and heart. They'll make you feel like the most important person in the room, and they'll expect you to do the same. Keep up with their fire, respect their freedom, and never let the spark die, and you just might find yourself in the most unforgettable love of your life. Marriage, a crown they may or may not want to wear. Marriage for a Leo monkey is a concept that swings between fantasy and fear. On one hand, it aligns perfectly with their grand sense of identity. What's more majestic than finding a life partner who worships the ground they walk on and joins them in their personal empire? On the other hand, marriage feels like a threat to their independence, a possible cage that limits their spontaneity and self-expression. Leo, ruled by the sun, thrives on being the heart of a family structure, the admired center of someone's world. But the monkey, quick-witted, mischievous, and allergic to repetition, often panics at the mere idea of forever being spelled out in routine. The result? A deeply conflicted individual who wants the fairy tale and the freedom. The Leo monkey dreams of a partnership that mirrors royalty, not tradition. The idea of building an empire with someone equally intelligent, driven, and emotionally engaging lights them up. They want someone they can build a vision with, a true ride or die who's there for the brainstorming, the breakthroughs, and the champagne toasts after every win. They're not just looking for affection, they want alliance. They want to look across the dinner table and see a co-leader. This means their ideal marriage is built on intense collaboration and deep mutual respect. Passive partners? Hard pass. Leo monkeys don't do well with followers. They need a spouse with a strong will, someone who can challenge their ideas, sharpen their vision, and occasionally humble their ego, not with cruelty, but with intelligence. Humor and wit are critical in a Leo monkey marriage. They fall in love with the mind as much as the body, and day-to-day interaction must include verbal play. A spouse who can trade sarcastic barbs over coffee, quote books or TV shows during arguments, and make the Leo monkey laugh even in tense moments will win their eternal affection. They want a partner who can turn conflict into connection, but that partner must also know when to let them lead, not in an authoritarian sense, but in a "let me shine" kind of way. Leo monkeys need to feel admired in the relationship, even if it's subtle, whether it's through compliments, support, or simply stepping back and letting them take the spotlight now and then. Routine is the death of their marital bliss. Leo monkeys wither in monotony. They need change, novelty, growth. A marriage to them should feel like an evolving story, not a closed chapter. That's why many Leo monkey couples thrive when their union involves shared goals and constant reinvention. Starting businesses, traveling to new countries, learning new skills together, or engaging in ongoing creative projects. They want a marriage that's lived, not just maintained. They need freedom within the commitment, space to pursue solo passions without guilt, but always coming back to the shared bond that grounds them. A partner who understands and supports this rhythm, rather than feeling threatened by it, will experience the best side of the Leo monkey. Fierce loyalty wrapped in blazing love. Parenthood is a fascinating chapter in the Leo monkey's life, but it's one they don't enter lightly. They tend to delay having children until they feel emotionally secure and mentally prepared. They understand the gravity of the responsibility, and if they don't feel ready, they won't fake it. But when they do commit to raising a child, they often become the kind of parents who turn ordinary days into magical adventures. They'll encourage creativity, independence, and self-expression in their kids. Their parenting style is playful but principled. Expect costume nights, open discussions about emotions, and spontaneous road trips just because. Still, the early years of parenting can overwhelm them, especially the repetitive, exhausting parts. They need support and reassurance that they don't have to give up their identity to be a good parent. Once they find that balance, they flourish as deeply involved, inspiring, and emotionally connected caregivers. At its best, a Leo monkey marriage is a masterpiece. It's passionate, dynamic, and constantly evolving, never content with average, never stuck in silence. But it requires intention. They must be partnered with someone who celebrates their complexity, not someone who tries to tame it. For a Leo monkey, love must be a living, breathing thing, full of respect, romance, laughter, and the occasional dramatic monologue. Give them that, and you won't just have a marriage, you'll have a kingdom. Sex: bold, playful, and a little bit dangerous. Sex with a Leo monkey is never just sex. It's a performance, a playground, a power exchange, and a whole fantasy wrapped in heat. These individuals are not built for modest, mission-style routines or a "let's get this over with" approach. No, for them, intimacy is a full sensory experience that requires attention, creativity, and a healthy dose of drama. They want it to feel like a scene out of a movie, complete with music, lighting, mood, and surprise. The Leo side needs to feel adored, almost worshipped in bed. They're performers at heart, turned on by praise, attention, and emotional energy. The monkey side? It's all about mischief, risk, and variety. They'll show up with toys, blindfolds, or a wild suggestion you never saw coming, not because they're trying to shock you, but because they're always chasing that next electric spark. Admiration is their fuel. Tell them how good they look, how much you want them, how amazing they are, and watch them transform. Leo monkeys thrive under attention. In the bedroom, that means they want to feel not just desired, but chosen. They want to know that out of everyone in the world, you want them, uniquely, obsessively, completely. The more you vocalize that, the more they'll open up and give you every ounce of passion they've got. They don't just want your body, they want your eyes, your voice, your focus. Be present, or be gone. And they'll do the same in return. Once you've earned their vulnerability, they'll make you feel like the only person in the universe. Playfulness is essential to their sexual chemistry. This isn't just about eroticism, it's about fun. Leo monkeys flirt before, during, and after intimacy. They're the ones making jokes mid-foreplay, initiating spontaneous role play, or turning ordinary moments into sensual ones. They love turning up the heat in unexpected places. The kitchen, the car, maybe even the dressing room of a boutique. Their mind is a playground of what-ifs and let's try this. They are the masters of teasing, long glances, light touches, text messages that escalate throughout the day. They want sex to be joyful, curious, and free from shame. If their partner brings equal energy, enthusiasm, and imagination to the mix, the Leo monkey will keep the fire alive for years, never letting things go cold. Their appetite for novelty means they have little patience for sexual stagnation. The Leo monkey needs stimulation, mental, physical, emotional. If intimacy becomes predictable, if it starts feeling like an obligation or a chore, their interest plummets. They don't just want passion, they require it. And if they stop feeling sexy, seen, or emotionally connected, they may begin to disengage. This is when their darker instincts can surface. While not inherently unfaithful, they are susceptible to temptation when their needs aren't met, particularly when they feel ignored or taken for granted. To them, cheating isn't about conquest, it's about seeking the admiration and intensity they crave. But here's the twist: if their partner does show up consistently, with excitement, affection, and curiosity, they're shockingly loyal, almost devotional. They'll reward that energy with intensity, generosity, and full-body devotion. Underneath the showmanship, Leo monkeys are incredibly intimate when they feel safe. While they may lead with confidence and flair, what they truly long for is emotional depth beneath the physical thrill. If they trust you, if they feel emotionally held and admired, they'll go beyond surface pleasure. They'll invite you into their world fully, body, mind, and soul. This is where the performance fades and the real magic begins. Vulnerability, laughter, shared secrets. This is what elevates sex into something transcendent for them. And once that kind of connection is established, they'll move mountains to keep the flame alive. Because for all their fiery flamboyance, the Leo monkey isn't just looking for a good time, they're looking for a passionate bond that never stops evolving. Friendship, the life of the party, with depth. Being friends with a Leo monkey means your life is about to get a lot more colorful, unpredictable, and meaningful all at once. These individuals aren't just social butterflies, they're social meteor showers. They arrive with presents, turn the energy up in any room, and before you know it, they've pulled everyone into their orbit. They thrive on connection and attention, yes, but they're not superficial. Far from it. The Leo side loves to entertain, lead, and radiate warmth, while the monkey side adds a clever, impulsive, often hilarious streak that keeps people on their toes. They're the kind of friends who suggest an impromptu road trip at midnight, bring absurdly thoughtful gifts for no reason, and somehow know the perfect meme to send when you're crying in your car after a breakup. They're not, sometimes, friends. They're everywhere all the time friends. With them, simple things become theatrical. Grocery shopping turns into a food challenge. A walk in the park becomes a photo shoot. Even waiting in line becomes a debate about time, human psychology, and whether or not reality is a simulation. Their ability to infuse magic into the mundane is what makes them so addictive to be around. And yet, this comes with a kind of intensity. Leo monkeys don't do light connections. If they've let you into their world, they expect the same energy back. They'll celebrate your wins like their personal victories and defend you with the ferocity of a lion, but they also demand loyalty, attention, and authenticity in return. You don't just hang out with a Leo monkey, you commit to being part of their chosen tribe. Beneath their flashy charisma lies a surprisingly tender, loyal heart. Leo monkeys value friendship on a deep, almost sacred level. They don't open up easily, even though they seem emotionally accessible. Most of their charm is armor, tested tactics to win people over while hiding the vulnerable parts of themselves. But once you break through that glittering exterior and prove that you're trustworthy, real, and genuinely invested, they'll let you into the emotional core. And in that space, they are some of the most giving, protective, and affirming friends you'll ever know. They'll show up when it matters, defend you without hesitation, and quietly check in even when the party lights go out. They feel your pain as their own, and they celebrate your joy with the volume turned up to 100. However, don't mistake their warmth for tolerance of nonsense. Leo monkeys are quick to cut ties with people who prove fake, manipulative, or draining. They have little patience for passive aggression, subtle competitiveness, or emotional freeloaders. If they sense someone using them, lying to them, or just not vibing on their frequency anymore, they won't start a drama scene, they'll just disappear. Ghosted, gone, not because they're cold, but because they protect their energy like royalty guards a throne. Their time and affection are gold, and they expect it to be treated that way. They believe deeply in emotional reciprocity, and they hold people to high standards. Be real, be fun, be supportive, or be replaced. Their ideal friends are multifaceted, just like they are. They need people who can match their tempo, those who can keep up with their wild ideas, spontaneous trips, and deep 2 a.m. conversations about mortality, meaning, and whether or not they should dye their hair pink. They thrive with friends who are both emotionally intelligent and socially fearless. Someone who can switch from discussing spiritual healing to screaming pop songs at karaoke without missing a beat. The perfect Leo monkey friendship feels like an indie film with a killer soundtrack, vibrant, funny, raw, and unforgettable. And once you've earned your spot in their circle, they won't just entertain you, they'll inspire you, push you, protect you, and love you in ways that stay with you for life. Business, hustler brain meets star power. A Leo monkey in business is like a lightning storm that learned how to wear a tailored suit. They're not just ambitious, they're wired for impact, programmed from birth to chase big visions and turn bold ideas into tangible empires. This isn't the kind of person who clocks in and counts down the hours. This is the kind of person who starts a company on a napkin over lunch and is pitching it to investors by dinner. The Leo side brings dazzling charisma, natural leadership, and an obsession with greatness. They want to be the face of something iconic. The monkey adds intellectual flexibility, street smarts, and that sneaky ability to always find an angle. Together, these energies create a business personality that's magnetic, fearless, and just a little bit dangerous, in the best possible way. They're natural-born entrepreneurs, and not just because they like money. They like movement. They like watching something grow from idea to reality, fueled by their own hands, heart, and ego. They often step into business roles without waiting for permission, they create the roles. Leo monkeys aren't interested in fitting into existing systems. They want to disrupt, reinvent, outperform. And they do this with style. Whether it's launching a personal brand, running a production company, heading a nonprofit, or flipping real estate, they bring the kind of confidence that turns even doubters into followers. Their talent lies in blending showmanship with strategy. They can hype a product, charm a boardroom, and negotiate a deal, all before lunch. Public speaking? Easy. High-stakes negotiation? Fun. Managing a chaotic team of creatives? Bring it on. Put them in a room full of powerful people and they'll not only hold their own, they'll often walk out with new allies, new ideas, and a new game plan already in motion. Leo gives them the presence. They command attention when they walk in. The monkey gives them adaptability. They know how to read a room, change tactics mid-conversation, and still land the win. They're excellent at branding, not just visually, but emotionally. They know how to tell a story, build a vibe, sell an identity. And because they learn fast, they can pivot faster than most. This makes them ideal for industries that reward innovation and boldness: entertainment, tech, media, fashion, sales, hospitality, and entrepreneurship. However, they're not perfect. The very traits that make them visionary can also cause chaos. Leo monkeys often start strong, ideas flowing, energy high, confidence at 110%. But as soon as things get repetitive, boring, or overly structured, they begin to lose steam. The monkey side craves stimulation and challenge. The Leo side needs praise and recognition. When those things fade, they can spiral into distraction or burnout. Follow-through is their Achilles heel. They may launch 5 projects and finish none, or spend more time designing the logo than building the infrastructure. That's why partnering with someone more grounded, or hiring detail-oriented team members, is essential. With the right support system, they can focus on what they do best: leading, envisioning, and pushing boundaries. They are unapologetic lovers of luxury, but not for vanity's sake alone. For them, money isn't just money, it's freedom. It's the ability to wake up in Bali on a Wednesday, fund a new venture on Friday, and host a launch party in New York on Saturday. They use wealth to create experiences, to inspire others, and to fuel their ever-evolving lifestyles. They don't hoard money, they circulate it, investing in travel, art, business opportunities, and status symbols not just to show off, but to constantly expand their world. And while they may be flamboyant in their spending, they're also surprisingly savvy. They understand that power follows money, and they play that game with fearless strategy and a touch of flair. In the end, a Leo monkey in business isn't just trying to succeed, they're trying to dominate. Not out of ego alone, but out of a deep-seated desire to matter, to leave a mark, to be remembered. They bring fire, finesse, and a touch of rebellion to everything they do. If they master discipline, or better yet, delegate it, there's no limit to what they can build. Give them a stage, a challenge, and a reason to shine, and they'll build an empire while the rest of the world is still sending emails. Dark sides: ego, manipulation, and restlessness. Behind the fire and flair of the Leo monkey lies a shadow that's often cleverly hidden, but it's there, humming beneath the surface, shaping their decisions, reactions, and relationships more than even they'd like to admit. Their ego, which usually fuels their confidence and charisma, can quickly become their greatest liability. When things are going well, they shine like the center of the universe. But the moment they feel criticized, ignored, or, God forbid, rejected, the mask can crack. And what spills out isn't sadness or vulnerability. It's defensiveness, sarcasm, mockery. They'll play it off like they don't care, like they've moved on, like you're the problem. But behind closed doors, they're obsessing. Their pride is so sensitive it can feel like a raw nerve, and even small slights can trigger disproportionate emotional responses that leave others confused or hurt. The Leo part of them demands to be admired, and the monkey part knows exactly how to get that admiration, even if it means manipulating the situation. When they feel unappreciated or unseen, they can subtly start controlling the narrative. They might exaggerate a story, leave out key facts, or turn on the charm at full volume to steer attention their way. If they feel threatened, their defense mechanism often involves psychological tricks, flattery mixed with guilt, humor laced with judgment, praise followed by subtle criticism. It's not always intentional. Much of it stems from their deep fear of being irrelevant or abandoned. But the impact is real. Friends, partners, and colleagues may find themselves wrapped in a web of contradiction, simultaneously enchanted and exhausted, drawn in yet emotionally off balance. Charisma becomes a tool, and when misused, it becomes a weapon. Leo monkeys have a way with words. They can twist, reframe, deflect, and spin a conversation so artfully that you forget what the original issue was. They often do this to avoid accountability, not because they lack empathy, but because admitting fault feels like personal defeat. Their pride is so intertwined with their identity that even gentle feedback can feel like an existential threat. So instead of accepting responsibility, they deflect. They charm. They change the subject, or worse, they gaslight. They'll make others question their memory or emotions, not out of malice, but as a way to maintain the upper hand. To feel safe. It's a toxic pattern that usually emerges under pressure or when their self-image is crumbling. And if it goes unchecked, it can leave a trail of emotional confusion in their wake. Restlessness is another silent saboteur in their lives. Leo monkeys live in a state of constant motion, emotionally, intellectually, physically. They're always chasing the next big thing, a new project, a new relationship, a new identity. This momentum can be electrifying, even inspiring, but it can also become destructive. They leave things half-finished. They walk away from relationships just when they start getting real. They ghost commitments, jobs, people, not out of cruelty, but because stillness feels like stagnation. And stagnation, to them, feels like death. The result? A life full of epic beginnings and messy, unexplained endings. The people around them may struggle to keep up, or worse, feel used and discarded. Leo monkeys often don't see the emotional wreckage until it's too late, because by then, they've already moved on to their next obsession. And yet, here's the most important truth: they can change. Self-awareness is their lifeline. When Leo monkeys begin to slow down, reflect, and peel back the layers of their ego, they unlock something powerful. Underneath all the bravado is usually a deeply sensitive, intelligent, and emotionally rich person who's simply terrified of being ordinary or unloved. Therapy can help them reconnect with their core. Meditation can help them quiet the noise. Honest friendships can offer mirrors that reflect not just their brilliance, but also their blind spots. Vulnerability, something they often avoid, is their key to growth. When they stop performing and start showing up as their whole, imperfect selves, they become not just magnetic, but truly transformational. Because a Leo monkey who's healed and self-aware, that's a force of nature, one that builds instead of breaks, connects instead of controls, and leads not through manipulation, but through real, resonant power. Life purpose: to inspire, create, and lead. The Leo monkey was never born to blend in, they were born to burst forth. At their core, they are radiant creators and natural catalysts, designed not only to command attention but to use that attention as a force for transformation. They don't just want to live, they want to ignite. To lead with fire, to create with flair, to express their soul in a way that moves others, changes minds, flips norms on their head, and leaves an imprint that echoes long after they're gone. Whether they're standing on a stage, launching a company, producing art, or shaking up social systems, their purpose is rooted in one truth: they are here to move people. Not just emotionally, but forward, into new ways of thinking, new ways of living, new ways of being bold. The Leo side of their personality craves legacy. They dream in capital letters: big ideas, big vision, big impact. Mediocrity makes their skin crawl. Their ambition isn't just about money or status, it's about significance. They want their life to mean something, to ripple through the world with creative and emotional force. They're storytellers and visionaries, often finding themselves drawn to careers or missions that involve inspiring others, acting, speaking, coaching, designing, inventing, even leading cultural movements. The monkey in them brings the curiosity and adaptability to navigate chaos, pivot ideas, and stay endlessly relevant. While Leo provides the drive to build, the monkey offers the insight to evolve. Combined, this creates a person who's always ahead of the curve, pushing the envelope, turning obstacles into opportunities. They're not built for conventional paths. Structure feels like suffocation. Rules? They'll rewrite them. They often feel misaligned in traditional careers unless they're given full creative control or leadership. The thought of just doing a job to pay the bills can send them into existential meltdown. That's because their purpose is bigger than survival. It's about expression, transformation, and disruption. They need a platform, a canvas, or a mission, a place to burn bright without limits. But this doesn't mean they can't lead in a traditional sense. They can actually be exceptional leaders. They have vision, charisma, emotional intelligence, and the ability to galvanize others. But only if they're allowed to lead on their own terms. Micromanagement or bureaucracy will only lead to rebellion or burnout. Despite their star power, Leo monkeys are not meant to shine alone. One of their most sacred purposes is to uplift others as they rise. That's the evolution of their fire, from self-centered to selfless. Early in life, they may chase the spotlight for validation. But over time, as they mature, they begin to realize the real reward isn't just being admired, it's being impactful. The moment they start mentoring, collaborating, or championing other voices, something shifts. Their purpose deepens. They realize that leadership isn't just about standing above, it's about lifting everyone around them. When their light becomes a guiding torch instead of a spotlight, they become unstoppable. Their influence becomes not just powerful, but profound. At their highest expression, Leo monkeys are architects of inspiration. They're builders of boldness, connectors of people, and instigators of necessary change. But to truly fulfill their purpose, they must learn to balance ego with empathy. The desire to be seen must evolve into the desire to see others. Their passion must be tempered with patience. Their flair must be supported by discipline. And their brilliance must be rooted in something deeper than applause. When they step into this balance, they become more than performers or provocateurs. They become leaders of culture, shapers of dreams, and catalysts for awakening. They move from simply wanting to be remembered to wanting to matter. So if you're a Leo monkey, understand this: your life isn't meant to be small. Your ideas aren't meant to stay inside your head. You were born to express, to disrupt, to ignite. The world needs your wildness, your creativity, your bravery, and yes, even your drama. But it also needs your heart, your empathy, your ability to see beyond yourself and into the soul of humanity. Because when your passion becomes purpose, and your confidence becomes compassion, you don't just shine, you lead the way.